Father Peter here from Our Lady of the Angels, and I'd like to share with you a little bit about stories. And as Jesus told stories, the truth of the story is, and then that's for us to look into the story and find out what that story is telling us. There was this time when Jairus, who had a daughter who was sick and she had died, and he came to Jesus and he wanted him to go and see her. And Jesus said yes, but on the way there's a large crowd, and as he's walking through the crowd, he feels this power go out of him. And he realizes that someone has touched his cloak. And so he stops and he says, "Who was it that touched me?" And his disciples say, "You look at this crowd. How can you know who touched you?" But he persists. And so finally, the woman who touched his cloak comes up and says, "I'm the one who touched your cloak." And he tells her, "Your faith is what has healed you." And he wants her to know that great power and that love that comes from God that's willing to heal. And so she now can go on with her life in that faith and in the strength of that faith. Now he's called to continue on in his journey. When he gets to Jairus' house, there's a great commotion, and they tell him that your daughter's died and there's no need for you to go in. And he stops and he looks at them and he said, no, I'm going in because she's just asleep. And they all think that he really doesn't understand, but he leaves them outside and he takes the parents and two of his disciples, and they go in, and he walks over to where this little girl is lying, and he takes her by the hand and he says, "Talitha kum," little girl, get up. And she gets up from the bed and she begins to walk around, and he says to the parents, "Give her something to eat so that she can be kept strong." And it's on the faith of the parents that Jesus went and performed that miracle for them. When we look in our own lives for the times when we're hurting, when we might need healing, they're the times that we turn to Jesus and we ask for that grace, for his presence in our lives so that we can be healed, so that we can grow stronger in our faith. And then if that happens, we can now go out and help others who might be struggling, who might be hurting, who might be in pain. So that's what brothers and sisters do for one another, because Jesus gives us the example of his own life and says to us, what I'm doing for you, you go and do for one another. And that's the truth of the story.